Hey everyone, and welcome to Nina Williams In Depth. They call me a friendly tree, and today we're going to talk about Nina's Snakeshot, or Sidestep 1. Another very well known move of hers. Okay, so first off, we'll make sure the settings are all okay. Good there. Put command history on. Player attack info on. Keep hit properties, recovery information. And we'll put detailed player frame data on. Don't need count hit or anything. Alright, so why do they call it Snakeshot? Once again, it's because the name is Snakeshot. So we can see here, Snakeshot is sidestep 1, or during sidestep, pressing the 1 attack button. And then there's three options from Snakeshot. We've got Snakeshot into rolling dash, Snakeshot into reverse rolling dash, and Snakeshot into double shot, which is the sidestep 1, 2. So let's look at these. So here we go, there's Snakeshot. Snakeshot into rolling dash is Snakeshot into a forward sway. Snakeshot into reverse rolling dash. Snakeshot into back sway. And then we've got double shot. So you can probably see Snakeshot on its own is only +3, and I hope you can tell the range on it is not great. So if we go, let's go 1.6, it works. 1.75ish, it does not work. Let's see if we get 1.7. Oh, it's about as close as we'll get. Yeah, so we're looking about 1.65 range. So you've got to be very close to get it to work. Double shot, as you can see, it's only -6. Not a natural combo. So this is not a move that you'll see people use very often, but you will see people use sidestep 1 into forward sway, +23, or back sway, also +23 is listed here. So from the forward sway, you can cancel into any of her quarter circle forward or while standing moves. So if you hold the forward input, you'll do a quarter circle forward move. If you go neutral and press the attack button, you'll do a while standing move. This has some, that only connected because it was on the side, by the way. I should mention +23, it's not a true +23, they can still block. Alright, and from back sway, if we just do the back sway, we go quite far back, don't we? So there's not much they can hit there. Depending on the timing, if you do something instantly, you can do a while standing move. If you wait a little while, you can do a standing move. So you're not covering much ground there, are you? Well, more, you're not getting in close if you do that. So it kind of seems counterintuitive to Nina's plan for a move that you've got to get very close to start doing. So this is where we start doing cancels. So during the back sway, you cannot do this during the forward sway, by the way, you're locked into the forward sway, but during the back sway, you can cancel with either an up or an up back. If you do an up back method, you will not sidestep. If you do an up, you'll cancel into a sidestep. There's a lot of talk about which one's better or the perfect sidestep cancel, and to be honest, both of them give you the same frame advantage. The only difference is if you do the sidestep method, then you have to use another input at the same time, and there's no way for you to do things like a magic 4. Because you'll do that and you'll just get a sidestep 4. Alright? But the only time you're really going to want to use a magic 4 would be in a back turn juggle. Which, here's a little trick, by the way. You know, remember I said before that during the back sway you can still do while standing moves? You can actually get that to connect without even doing a cancel. But of course it's tricky, it's hard to get the time right, and if you get it wrong, or if you're not at the right range, you'll just whiff, and it's a really wasted opportunity, isn't it? Okay. On block, Snakeshot's -10, double shot's -6, but the back sway and the forward sway are still +10. Now this is important because that allows us to do things such as a forward sway into a forward 1 or a forward 4. Notice these startup frames, they're both 14, okay? So plus 10 and you do a 14 frame move, what do you know? They don't have much of a gap. There's nothing, no character has anything they can do to interrupt there. For example, let's actually record that. Oh wait, we don't want to be hit. So I'm going to jab after blocking, and I get counter hit launched. Likewise with an even slower move. Because if I want to do something to interrupt that, I can't. Alright. Oh, except, sorry. You can do that. But there's not a great reward there, and you can see the risk, considering she has options to things like that. Oh, we didn't record. Oh well, anyway. So, plus 10. This is where the cancelling the backsways come in, because you can really keep close to apply pressure. If you're at plus 10 during that backsway, if you do something instantly, that is coming out while at plus 10. So that's a 14 frame move. So there's no gap there. Well, yeah, it's the same as doing something like that. They cannot interrupt. However, that's not the best move to do there, is it? So generally what we do is we do a cancel, and then we try and do the move as quickly as possible after that. So if I'm plus 10 with side step 1 back, and then I do an up cancel, and then do a move as quickly as possible, the up cancel or the up back cancel leaves me at plus 9. The next input of the move is 8. So that means if you do a perfect side step cancel, you're going to be at about plus 8. But that's tricky to do, and it's very tricky for you to practice in practice mode to find that, okay? The general things that you probably want to practice trying to do, whoops, that wasn't in the cancel. Forward 3, down forward 1 plus 2, down 2. And things like throws. God, a lot of those are pretty not clean, are they? But you can't tell except for the input. Unless, however, we'll just stick stand. So I mentioned before, this is plus 23. You see that registers, because I'm doing an 18 frame move there. If I do that, that still registers as a 23 frame move, okay? Because I'm plus 23. Technically, like I said before, the opponent can block this, but it's a good way for you to practice your inputs, because you're doing a 23, you got the 23 frame advantage, and it'll register as a combo in practice mode if you do something within that time. So backsway, we're plus 23, so we do the cancel, and then we do the move, so we're plus 22, plus 21. So the best we can get is plus 21. So doing something like that, you can see it's very easy to get that to link. Like I failed the first one, and it's still registering as a combo, but I've got 4 or 5 frames of leniency there. The next one you can do, oh, sorry. Oh my god. Here we go. Whoa. See? Whoop. Clearly mine aren't very clean because I'm a bit out of practice. Okay, so that's doing an 18 frame move. So that's still 21, so that's still 3 frames away from being perfect, isn't it? Then, of course, you could use a 20 frame move. Maybe like down back 3, and this is where, if you're doing this, you're within a frame of doing a perfect side step cancel. Oh. And it's tricky. There we go, see? So that's a perfect side step cancel or within a frame. Looking at my inputs just there, I would say that's probably a frame away from being a perfect side step cancel. But that's that really. Alright, the next thing we want to look at are inputs. So first I'm going to show off how I do things on stick. So you can see, of course, I tap up or I tap down to sidestep. During the sidestep, I can tap 1. You can have a lot of delay while you do this, okay? From here, as I tap it, I can do a forward sway or a back sway. So it's a pretty simple movement so far. If I want to do a side step 1 into quarter super forward 1, it's just that. Alright. Or neutral. I completely let go. Let's set this to guard. If I want to do things into a back sway, that's where things get a bit more complicated. So I prefer the up method. So you can see I do a pretty fast movement there because I do side step 1 back. I almost do like a circular movement. Ooh. So that's, that's how I do the inputs. When it comes to combos, the only time I really do it in combos is doing a back sway into an up forward 4, or a back sway into a while standing 1, or a side step 1 into a side step 1, such as off here. So that's just back sway up, back sway up. Oh, sorry, back sway up, back sway back, up forward 4. So you don't have to cancel the second one with an up. You just go back sway up forward 4. All right. So back sway up, side step 1, up forward 4. Or in that scenario there. On the other side, much the same. So forward sway like that, back sway like that. Oof, yikes. Yep. Whee. And if you're quick at the inputs, by the way, you'll be able to get things like throws to reach. Oh, that wasn't a good example. But we'll do the same throw to get back on the other side. Oh, yikes. Oh my god. That's a side throw. Cool. Ah. There we go. Took me a while to do a proper cancel, just showing how rusty I am. With that in mind, then you can start doing things like command throw mix-ups. Okay, anyway. The next part is, of course, me showing inputs on pad. So hopefully you can see my pad okay. So it's the same sort of thing. So quarter circle forward, you just hold it. While standing, you let go. Back sway. It's a matter of getting used to the time there. I should point out also with the sway, it's different timing to doing a back sway on its own. It's different going to a back sway from side step 1 than it is to just do it ordinary to get those sort of motions. You gotta hold it. Yeah, you gotta hold it a lot longer to get it from a back sway. It's almost the opposite. Well, it is the opposite, really. Okay, so if I'm going to do cancels on a pad, God, they're not very clean. Oh, I'm not even cancelling it. It's the same thing. Oh my god. Whoa, it's like I've gotten so much worse all of a sudden. Yeah. Here we go. And likewise, if I was doing things in combos, yeah. On the other side, same sort of deal. So, boom, boom. Right, and then, oh, yikes. Yeah. So if you slow it down, you can see the motion of Nina. And if you're seeing too much of that sway like you are there, then I'm not doing it very well. Yikes. Man, I'm not a pad player. Yeah. Alright, well those are the inputs on stick and pad. Alright. Last but not least, we need to talk about the application of sidestep 1. So this is a pretty tricky one, really. One thing that you definitely need to keep in mind is the range of the move. So clearly the intention of it is to be used up close. And because it's about frame advantage, you're trying to apply it so that you can force the opponent into some kind of mix-up. But most of your options afterwards don't give you any sort of follow-up. It's kind of hard to continue pressure. Or they come with some kind of inherent risk, like being duckable or punishable. So with that in mind, a lot of the time to continue pressure, you really need to make the opponent freeze, or you need to try and condition them with it, and you need to get a read on what type of player they are, whether they're going to press a button or whether you can really use this, whether you can really approach them and do a sidestep 1. One good thing about it is because of the backsway cancel, you can essentially do it and recover instantly. You can also use it to start like a Hayashida step. So you can use it to create distance. You can use it to fake moves from a distance to try and bait them to do something. Or you can even use it from a distance to do stuff like... Oh, sorry. Oh, wow. Okay, I clearly can't do this today. Like Evil Mist. Or cancel into something like a low sweep or a backsway. You can use it to bait, in other words. So it's one of those few moves Nina has that you could actually use as a whiff move to try and bait something or to go into something else unexpectedly. So that's what you can do far away, but if you're not versing an opponent where you can just run up and do it, which to be honest is rare, most people as you approach will try and do some sort of keep away, you need to find another way to be able to do this. So, I mean, it comes from a sidestep, so one way to do this could be doing it from some of her moves that do sidestep cancels, such as 1-2 sidestep 1, or down forward 1-2 sidestep 1, down forward 3-2 sidestep 1, down forward 3-1 sidestep 1, down 4-1 sidestep, or even back 2-2-2 sidestep, or up forward 4-3-4 sidestep. Now, a lot of these come with a bit of risk, okay? So let's get through the easy ones first. So down 4-1 sidestep. Whoops. If we do this, even on hit, the opponent can duck and launch. Oops. If they don't duck, oh, sorry. If they don't duck, they're sort of locked with what they can do. But yeah, a duck and launch will always work here, even on hit or block. So clearly that's something you could be very careful with what you use. Next one, down 3-2. So you can even see there's a bit of a gap there. So what do we get here? I think we get 13. Yeah, so it trades with 14. Which is not good against Nina for that very reason, but many characters that's not a good situation. And also anything after a down 3, down for 3, sorry, you can duck and launch. So that's clearly not something you're going to be applying very often. Likewise with down for 3-1, you can see because it cancels the second hit, you've got a lot of time there. Alright, so that's not very valid either. The next one, can opener. So with can opener, once again if they block it, they've got plenty of time to interrupt. Of course with can opener the goal is to low parry. As soon as you see the first hit, or first attack, you need to low parry the second to keep yourself safe. Now if it hits, sidestep 1 will actually beat a jab. It'll beat any attack, except of course, attack reversals. Or, I mean, if you've got to move faster than 10 frame, that might work, but Nina doesn't have one. But you can still sidestep. think you can only sidestep left actually, or no, you can sidestep both directions. It doesn't matter which direction they do the sidestep from the can opener, you can sidestep both directions. I don't think you can backdash in here. No. Anyway, so that's can opener. Next we'll go on to 1-2 sidestep. So on hit, that'll beat 10 frames. Alright, but, oh sorry, on hit. Oh, come on. You can still sidestep. I think you can only sidestep left though, or it depends what way they sidestep here. So let's sidestep the other way, just double check that. Oh, sorry. Sidestep right work there. Yeah, so okay, sidestep left is going to work both times. And then down forward 1-2. Alright, so if I do a 10 frame, it trades. I can sidestep left. I can sidestep right. And I can backdash. And I can still do attack reversals as well. So you can see that's not too great to use either. You've got to really have them conditioned there. Oh, and I mean on block. Yeah, you got a 14 frame gap there. Likewise with this. I think it's a 13 frame gap. Yeah. So same deal as what we were talking about earlier. Okay, but the significance of that, of course, is you can see that there are ways to get around it, but she does have different options you can mix it up with, such as a high risk thing like that. Or just down forward 2. You don't even have to do the sidestep cancel, of course. So you do have options there, and it's just about making them, try and make them freeze, and then you can get that sidestep 1, and then do what pressure you want from there, okay? You can chain sidestep 1 into sidestep 1, but as you can see, away from the wall it can be kind of hard to link it one after the other, just because of range. The next thing we need to talk about is, I guess, what to do after the sidestep 1. So I talked before about the different moves you can do, so of course this will, if you do something like a sidestep 1 into a forward 1, if they do a jab, sorry, on block if they do a jab, they'll get counter hit launched. So you've got different options there, and depending on how fast you do it, oh. Yeah, but on hit, yeah. Now on block, yeah. So you can see the risk if you're not doing it very effectively. That's why, even though you have the frame advantage, you need to figure out what type of person you're versing, what you can really get away with, because it's frame advantage, but what you do afterwards is not always going to be that rewarding, or it's going to be interruptible in some sort of way. Okay, so we've talked about just trying to get in, ways to apply it. So I mean the most important way is 1-2 really, the 10 frame punish, and I guess down forward 1-2. You can also use combos. You could use some kind of oki to set it up. So, for example, what am I doing? Oh my god. So like that. So that was just them standing up normally. If we put them, so we're teching. So that didn't work there. If we go the other way, didn't work either. Works that way, okay? Also, the reason I used that example of ending with Kurasuku forward 1, sorry, while standing 1, is you'll beat get up kicks. You won't beat recovery kicks, but you will beat both get up low and mid, and if I remember correctly, yeah, you'll launch a spring kick. So, okay, for example there, sorry, let's give a proper example. did it too slow. Maybe I'm doing it too fast. Different combo. Yeah. Okay, it's timing specific, but you see the option. Let's try sidestepping the other way. Yeah. So you can continue and do a combo from that. Likewise. That was a fail. You can just see how they wake up. So depending on what you do, you can still just attack based on how they wake up. Oh! Not quite the option we wanted there, was it? Doing something like a quarter circle forward 1. Same sort of deal. Okay. So they're just some examples of how you can use Oki to set yourself up to maintain pressure after that. And I mean, the good thing is if they do just stay grounded, you do that and you're not at really any risk. If you just complete the back sway, you can even block their get up kicks and get out of range of their mids sometimes. So it can be a good option. Not the most rewarding, but a good way for you to continue and maintain your pressure, which is what a lot of Nina players want to do. Oh, not that, we want to go stage select. So the last thing I wanted to look at was Oki at the wall with this move, okay, and so most of the time with Nina, our goal is to get as close to the opponent as possible, and it's also to try and get the opponent to the wall. If we can push them to the wall, that's where the real pressure can begin. So, with us at the wall, set tech roll left, standard combo we see that. Whoops. Anyway, I should set tech the other direction, sorry. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so sidestep left covers both options there if they tech roll. Unfortunately in this scenario, actually we'll do wake up backwards first. Oh god. My bad. Yeah, so quick back rise. Unfortunately in this scenario, if we do a wake up mid kick, it'll lose. So this is where we can instead end in that. Oh, I must have been a bit slow there, sorry. Positive that works. Yeah, there we go. So, and you can do that in either direction. But so the sidestep left was more consistent for catching things before. This will also, once again, beat the low kick. Whoa. This will also, once again, beat the low kick as well. Yep. Should lose to the recovery kick, but hey, that's not much damage. And if you're really unsure about something like the recovery kick, I mean, that's where you can do a back sway instead. Or, you know, you've got other options. This is just one of many options you can do at the wall. I think it loses to spring kick in both directions. Oh, sorry. Yeah, in that scenario it does. So that's just a little bit of what you can do for Oki to set it up there. Now I mentioned at the wall, this is the strongest place for us to use sidestep 1. Suddenly chaining sidestep 1 into sidestep 1 becomes very easy to do. So we can do that. We can use it to help set up and try and get a wall splat. Do keep in mind there is a gap there, okay? So doing sidestep 1 into sidestep 1, it may look fancy, and it is fancy, but yeah. How big is the gap? I feel like a 14. Yeah, 14 trades again. So there is risk there. But once you're close to the wall, if you can set up, you don't have to just do mid after mid, you can commit straight to a low. I mean, you got to keep in mind. If you're doing this and you see them do a button, you can get a wall splat by doing that with a counter hit. But it's risky, of course, if they don't press a button and they don't get a counter hit, because then they can duck and launch you. But likewise, that's a pretty safe option you have to wall splat. And you can go into that, which you can confirm, counter hit confirm. Or you've got many other options you can do anyway. Okay. The last thing. I promise, guys, the last thing I wanted to talk about was application and combos. So you can use sidestep 1 in combos. It's useful for aligning yourself for different combos, such as that to get the while standing 1 loops, or wrong combo, going that way to get the quarter circle forward 4-2-3 ending. Another thing I quite often do for the double side steps, just like I was doing at the wall before, you can do that off different launches. So depending on the character, you can get it on a few different launches, but generally it's just upward 2-1. Oops. Oh. Or a low parry you can too, depending on the character. One thing I do have to point out with doing the double side steps, because you can only sidestep cancel into the background unless you're using a special piece of equipment, like a different peripheral than a basic fight stick or controller. When you're doing it from this side, when you're doing it from the player 2 side, you have to sidestep down, so you sidestep left to start, and then you sidestep right to start, and then you end up, oh god, I got that muddled up. You sidestep left to start, and then you go into the background, which is sidestep right, which means you're not bringing yourself off axis to do the while standing 1 loops from the side. So you can see here I'm off axis to do them. But that's how you get it to connect. The other part of combos, wall hits. So a common wall hit is just that. I do want to point out with that, you don't actually have to cancel. So you can do back, down, forward, 1-2, 1+2. So it's pretty easy to connect. You can also do things like bit less consistent. Yeah. Oh, got that to whiff too. Oh my god. So you can see this is pretty inconsistent in my opinion. Oh man. But things like that. Or come on. You get the idea anyway, it's pretty inconsistent. So, I mean, that's why I generally just stick to doing... What am I doing? Yeah. Or you can use it to go for a resplat. Depending on the angle you're at, depending on what you can get quite a lot. So it can work quite well to resplat there as well. Alright, I think that's everything I wanted to cover today. So thank you very much everybody for watching. Please comment below how you use sidestep 1, how you feel you can apply it to your gameplay, what you find useful of it, what you'd like to learn more about. Pretty much tell me everything you want, tell me everything you know and want to know about sidestep 1. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more content. Thanks everyone.
You win. What's done is done.